Breaking news, Man United finally win a match. It's the third match of the season. It's at Old Trafford against Liverpool, one of the title contenders. Man United win. And this is what Gary Neville had to say about it. He was doing the commentary for Sky. He said this has to be a sign of what is to come, because we've seen tonight we haven't seen in 12 months. Ten Hag has done something to the players, because I can't believe what I've just watched over the last 90 minutes. Liverpool are one of the great sides of recent seasons. And he was very much supportive of everything Ten Hag's been doing. Man United seem to be running more. They seem to want it tonight. And Liverpool didn't have the answers. I'm joined by John, a Man United fan. What did you make of the match tonight, John?
Well, you've said a lot of immediate things there. Of course, there's so much more detail to it. I think we rode our luck once or twice. There was a few ricochets, even in the first half. I remember one being cleared off the line kind of fortuitously by the Argentine defender Martinez. But overall, a complete transformation in the attitude and the performance compared to the previous two matches. Why? Well, I think Ten Hag, first of all, needs to take a lot of credit. Of course, he's the person who made some big calls. He's the person who roused the club in the last 8 days from the depths of despair, from our worst result and our worst performance, despite how bad the last 10 years has been, probably our worst performance in that 10-year period. And yet he's probably just inspired one of our best over the last 10 years. So, and perhaps I'm being accused of hyperbole, but I don't think we can have one without the other. So why? Well, he made some big calls. First of all, he dropped Ronaldo. Obviously, he didn't start the first match. He also then played the second, but was dropped. Lots of people pointing fingers at his attitude, and rightly so, during that match against Brentford last week. Not being good for the dressing room, not being good for the on-pitch reaction, because it was the reaction to going behind to both Brighton, but then in particular to Brentford last week, that was particularly disappointing. Well, our backs were against the wall tonight for the last half an hour in particular, and we managed to pull through. Now, team selection. We had, obviously, Shaw dropped at left back. Absolutely the right decision.
Well, you was very critical of Shaw on the last one. I mean, you'd probably drop De Gea as well based on his last performance, but I don't think there was another option in the goalkeeper position.
There wasn't another option. But to be honest with you, that was the right decision. Yeah. Have you got any thoughts on United in terms of not just tonight, but the season as a whole so far?
Well, it's been dreadful. It's been dreadful. I did a preview of the match. I thought Liverpool were going to win 3-1. I didn't see a way United would win this one. But what they've done, really, is they didn't outplay Liverpool with ability on the ball, because they didn't have much of the ball. I know we was looking at the stats just before we started. Let me get them up here. And you can see, possession-wise, Liverpool had all of the ball, 71%. United had 29%. And what they did differently to the other matches is they wasn't pinging the ball around. They was playing a lot of long balls. And it was very, very helpful for them to allow them to get further up the pitch. And Liverpool couldn't deal with it. I thought they looked a bit shaky at the back. Van Dijk, not the great centre-back everyone knows him as. And but just quickly going back to Man United's lineup, you touched on the fact that Shaw was dropped and also Harry Maguire. I think it was a great idea. And listen, I think they're going to be really struggling to find a place back inside this Man United side.
Yeah, listen, first of all, I want to highlight a couple of things as well. It's good that you got the line up there as well, because Malacia was incredible tonight. Varane coming in for his first start of the season was also the right choice. Christian Eriksen remaining in a much deeper role, albeit this week with McTominay alongside as opposed to Fred. But I just want to say a couple of things as well. There was... we actually did hit the post as well, let's not forget, before we eventually took the lead. So I don't want people to think I'm being a bit harsh on United by saying they were fortuitous. They certainly, made the most of some of their lucky ricochets. But also, I was starting to wonder if we were going to regret one or two of our misses, particularly when Elanga, I think it was, broke through at the beginning of the match, hits the post, and I'm thinking that was the chance, and you've got to take your chances against Liverpool. Well, by the way, talking of title contenders is how you introduce Liverpool. We're above them in the table.
It's pretty insane, isn't it?
I know.
Just quickly on Liverpool. Are they in trouble, or is it too early?
It's too early, but I want to highlight something you mentioned about Van Dijk. There was a really interesting exchange between Milner and Van Dijk. Very unusual. Milner's really having a go at Van Dijk. And what I suspect it was in the immediate aftermath of the first goal that Sancho took very nicely. He's obviously come in
Yeah.
for a lot of criticism, but dispelled some of that today. But actually, what it was Van Dijk just wasn't closing. I don't think Van Dijk was quite aware of the magnitude of the situation behind him. Van Dijk wasn't aware that his goalkeeper, Alisson, had obviously dived initially, probably wasn't aware of that, thought therefore he didn't have to panic and really press tight on Sancho. Sancho obviously facing the goal, sees Alisson on the floor, takes advantage of the space given to him by Van Dijk and scores. In the immediate aftermath, Milner comes right up to Van Dijk. It's quite funny because Van Dijk's about a foot taller, and he's really pointing his finger. And there's this no lack of aggression coming from Milner towards his centre back. Van Dijk just sort of keeps calm. There was no spat on the pitch like we saw from other players over the other years, but it was an insight into some disarray at that point in the game, and arguably at this point in the season for Liverpool.
Yeah, there were some players what did come on. Anthony Martial, I thought he looked very bright when he come on. Ronaldo come on very late on, so you can't judge him. Was it the right decision for you to drop Ronaldo from the start?
I mean, we won, so
Yeah.
I think that pretty much puts that to bed. I still think there were some moments in the last 5 minutes, by the way, when one or two immature decisions were being made. I highlighted in the first match of this season against Brighton. But I also think today, I thought there was a moment when Ronaldo probably should have passed it. We've obviously seen that many years gone by. Even Bruno as well, I think, and a couple of other immature decisions that shouldn't be made by mature professionals such as Ronaldo and Bruno, as we're either A, trying to see out the game, or B, give it to somebody in a better position. So that's still a concern. But Ronaldo doesn't deserve to start, either for his attitude or his performances on the pitch. That's just a fact. And he's going to have to get used to it, or I mean, we could go on and talk about Ronaldo and where he might end up, but I mean that's for another day.
Yeah, looking at the XG between the two teams, Man United 1.6, Liverpool 1.5. It seems pretty even, to be fair. United a little bit fortuitous to have got the 3 points, or not? Or you? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I sort of touched on that. I mean, I think there were some hairy moments, and on another day, Liverpool could easily have equalised and possibly should have scored from one or two of the opportunities we had. But what I will say is that the guts and the determination we showed today, that was sorely lacking in those first two matches, really probably did enough to see us over the line.
Yeah, talking about the determination, John, I think that was evident in the statistics because sprints so far, I think this was about the 70th minute of the match, United 106, Liverpool 62. You've got to be asking questions. If it is purely down to desire and will and work ethic, why weren't they doing it in the first few matches? And why did they turn it on today? Is it because they know this kind of was a must win? They needed to show a performance tonight. Ten Hag's job is in question. The players' jobs at United are in question. Their careers ahead of them. There's been so much pressure put onto them. And finally, they started running around. I mean, if they've got the ability, but why weren't they this determined in the other matches? And are they going to be determined the next match, or are they going to go back to what it was like before? It's hard to know.
JG, sorry, I just had to laugh at that point because you saying, are they going to be running around, remind me of the Harry Redknapp school of coaching, because just because he used to send substitutes on with detailed information about how they should just run around a bit. And to be honest with you, no, but I get what you mean, because today was a transformation, but I'd rather focus on the positives compared to, say, over the last 9 days. Whatever Ten Hag has been saying, whatever he's been doing, it's produced a reaction. And to be honest with you, whether you win some, you lose some, that will happen. But it's all about how you react to a defeat. Someone should write a book about that one day. But anyway, but seriously, honestly, it's all about how you react. And we have reacted positively. Of course, there should be doubts about how it will be in the next game. But to be honest with you, some of it's down to the personnel. No Luke Shaw, no Harry Maguire, no Cristiano Ronaldo. And I may have missed out one or two more from the changes from last week. But that has a big impact. And I think if players like Luke Shaw aren't pulling their weight, and he's got a lot of weight to pull, by the way, or Cristiano Ronaldo's busy pointing fingers but not doing his job properly, well, then rightly so, we change the lineup and we get a much more positive response, as we see. And I like the look of this table much more than I did, a few hours ago. That's for sure.
I mean, it's looking a lot better for Man United. They're up to 14th place with that win, overtaking Liverpool, are currently 16th. We didn't expect such a bad start for Liverpool, but let's wrap it up there, John. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Good luck to the rest of the season and the next match for Man United. My team, West Ham, are still yet to score a goal. It's been terrible for us. And I was hoping in a way United would lose to save us some embarrassment. But thanks for coming on, John. Go check out his channel if you haven't already, Talking Tennis. I don't think he's doing anything with United, but you never know. He may do the odd thing here and there. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the like button on this video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you on the next one.